Hey everyone, it's Jill and welcome to my booktube channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a reading vlog where I'm just showing you the books that I read this week. So I have a few books on my radar. The first one is House of Sky and Breath. I will be finishing this week. I have taken so long to read this. I think it literally took me a month to get halfway through. And it's not that I don't like this book. I think I like it so far. I think I just don't want to finish it since so far I'm really enjoying it. So I kind of want to savor it, I think. But also because so many people have said how amazing this book is and just how the ending's crazy. And then there's also a book on my Kindle that I'm reading. It's okay so far, but I will probably show you guys that later in the video. Also, for the first 3 days of the week, because it's Thursday now, I was just at placement, so I didn't read at all during those days. But today I'm going to start, but I'm hoping to get a good chunk of the way through this one, and then maybe move on to House of Flame and Shadow, or I also want to go back to the Throne of Glass series too, since I've only read 2 books out of that series so far, and I enjoyed both of those ones, and I definitely want to continue that. Or reading on the Kindle, we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna start with this one. I'm now on chapter 57, page 621, and I'm not really sure about this one, honestly. I feel like for the past little while, not much has really been progressing plot-wise, and it's feeling a little bit slow to me, which I remember for the first book, House of Earth and Blood, I felt the same way, kind of in the middle, similar section that I'm in now. Well, I guess I'm kind of near the end now. But I do remember feeling the same way in the first book, and then the ending I really liked. Unfortunately though, I feel like I'm also losing interest a bit, and I'm just thinking like, okay, when are the big things going to happen that I've heard people say how crazy the ending is. So I feel like that's what I'm just kind of waiting for at this point. Also, I don't even know if I like the couple together. I think I said in a previous video when I was talking about House of Earth and Blood that I wasn't really sure whether or not the couple would be staying together just based off of the first book. And in this second one, I feel like I'm not getting enough scenes with them, and I just feel like at this point there really isn't anything for me to necessarily root for them to be together. Like, they keep secrets from each other sometimes, and it just doesn't seem like a good match to me. I'm still going to be reading a little bit more today, but I feel like tomorrow I'll be able to finish this one, and that will feel nice because, like I said before, I've taken so long to read this. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll have this done and I'll update you my final thoughts. Okay guys, I finally finished House of Sky and Breath. I'll be honest, I didn't really feel like it picked up too much for me. Like, I didn't feel as into the story, I guess, and that it was as gripping as the ACOTAR series by SJM for me personally. But I think I still will give this like a 3.5. Also, the ending that everyone was talking about, I totally get it now. And I was actually kind of spoiled by SJM herself when she posted on Instagram for the next book, House of Flame and Shadow. She posted a little excerpt from it, and it kind of revealed something that I didn't know, which isn't really told until the very end of this one. So unfortunately, I kind of knew that and was expecting it to happen, but I just wasn't sure exactly how or when or why it was going to happen. But either way, it was still really interesting, and now I'm really looking forward to getting into House of Flame and Shadow, which I don't even know if I want to start right now. I feel like I might actually start Crown of Midnight because I've been wanting to get back into the Throne of Glass series for a while now, and this book doesn't seem too long. I definitely would be able to finish this one quicker than this huge brick. So yeah, I'm still undecided because I was also wanting to read my Kindle book, which is Powerless by Elsie Silver, which I'm 41% of the way through that book, and it's okay, honestly. I'm not like super obsessed with it or anything, but I think I might not do the Kindle because now I want to like stay in this whole world and everything. Also with this, so I kind of mentioned I didn't feel like the plot really picked up for me, or I wasn't like super interested in it. I would say from like the last middle to the ending, it was kind of slower paced than I prefer. I honestly was like super interested in Bryce's brother Rune and his story. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I was wanting to know what was happening with that relationship and everything. But overall, it was still good, and I would recommend, if you're interested in this series, to read this one for sure. I just think it maybe could have been a bit shorter so it didn't feel as draggy in the middle to the ending part, but maybe that's just me, I don't know. Another thing with this book is that I would definitely say this was a little bit more confusing than House of Earth and Blood, which people say the Crescent City series is more confusing than like ACOTAR or the Throne of Glass series by SJM, and I would definitely agree with that. There are moments in here where I was like, I straight up don't really know what's going on, but I just kind of had to read on and figure out eventually. But yeah, those are all of my kind of spoiler-ish free thoughts on this one. I couldn't say too much since it's the second book of a series, so I would pretty much be spoiling everything if I spoke too much about the plot and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to move on now to Crown of Midnight, and I'm so excited to get back into the Throne of Glass world. I will update you guys as maybe like halfway, no, maybe a third of the way through this one. Hey guys, I'm on chapter 22, page 175. I'm having so much fun reading this, honestly. I really want to finish it today. I don't know if I'm going to have time to though. It feels just so magical reading this. Selena finds hidden doors, there's like magical libraries. There's also a love triangle, which I think I kind of had it spoiled about who she ends up with, but it's interesting still to kind of read and see her feelings with both of them. Maybe I don't know actually who she ends up with, but based off of what I've heard fans say about this series, I think I do know. They also keep mentioning a character who I know is going to be in later books, or maybe even just later in this book. I'm not sure exactly, but at the moment some people think this character is dead, but to my knowledge I don't think they are dead. I'm just wondering when they're going to come into the story, if it's going to be sometime soon or if it's going to be in like later books. But yeah, it's honestly so good, and I can't believe that I have been holding off on finishing up or continuing Throne of Glass and this series for so long. I feel like I first started Throne of Glass like almost half a year ago, maybe not that long, maybe 4 months ago. But it's just interesting because I'm enjoying it so much, and I feel like it's just going to get even better as I continue with the next books, which I do have to buy actually, so depending on how this ends, I might have to go out and get the next one. Okay guys, last night I finished Crown of Midnight and it was so amazing. I'm really happy that I got to this when I did. I can't believe that I waited so many months. I looked on my Goodreads actually, and I read Throne of Glass, the book before this, December 8th, which was literally like December, January, February, March, 3 months ago. I can't believe I waited so long. That's crazy. Without saying too much and spoiling the plot and everything, I will say that the guy she kind of chose in the end, I was a little shocked about, because I really thought she was going to choose the other based off of things that I've heard. But I mean, there's still like many more books left, so she might be changing her mind. And it's also really funny because I think in my last check-in I was talking about a certain character who I knew their name because people just mention it on social media and stuff, and I was kind of waiting for them to come into the picture with this. And if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about, but it's really funny the way that character ends up coming into the picture and how the story unfolds at the end here. I was literally like, my jaw dropped when I read that. I was like, no way. It was so good though. I was so surprised. I did not see it coming at all. The plot and everything, the characters, it was just so interesting. I literally read it in like 2 days and I just couldn't put it down. And it was so easy to follow too, especially reading this right after finishing this one. The plot was just so much more easy to follow, which I mean, it makes sense because this is technically a young adult series and Crescent City is adult, so it kind of makes sense that the adult one is a little more complicated. But I personally like how easy it was to kind of follow and figure out what's going on with this one, and I'm really interested for the next ones to see what's going to unfold. And I'm going to the store today actually to get the next book. It is Air of Fire, I believe. Before I talk a little bit about my Kindle book, I almost forgot to rate this, and I'm rating this one a 4.5 stars. It was so good. It was almost 5 stars, but I just didn't get that 5-star feeling. But now getting into my Kindle read, I mentioned before I'm reading Powerless by Elsie Silver. I'm 44% of the way through. This is a friends to lovers romance. It's a small town kind of cowboy romance, but I feel like not much has really happened in this. Another thing with friends to lovers, for me personally, I like when they're friends and just very strictly friends and then become lovers. But for this one, I can very much tell that both parties, the FMC and the MMC, FMC is Sloane, MMC Jasper, they really liked each other from the start. I'm pretty sure it even says on the blurb that Sloane has loved Jasper since childhood, so technically, like, in my head, that's not like friends to lovers. It's kind of just they knew each other and then they just like never ended up being in a relationship because the two parties were afraid to share their feelings or something. Yeah, I don't know, it's like not really giving the type of friends to lovers I really like. I think I could finish this one today as well. There's 396 pages and I'm at 179. It is a very easy read, but currently I'm just not exactly sure what is the plot right now, because the characters, they kind of sort of want to be together, but they aren't really together yet, but they both like each other. I don't even know, but I'll probably update you guys my final thoughts on this. So far though, it's not looking great. I feel like I'll probably rate this like a 3 stars, which is a little disappointing honestly, because I've heard so many people talk about the Chestnut Springs whole series and I've been looking forward to reading this for a few months now. But maybe I'll try out another one of the books. I know that Reckless is another popular one I recently heard someone talk about and say it's so amazing. So if I don't really like Powerless, I'll still definitely give one of the other books in this series a shot, and I won't give up on Elsie Silver just yet if this one doesn't really do it for me. But I will update you guys soon. I just finished Powerless and I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. It was okay, but I felt like the stakes were just kind of too low. And I don't know if that's because I just came out of reading a fantasy romance where it's kind of like the stakes are always high and fan rose. I think I mentioned in the last clip how Sloane always kind of liked Jasper and that love was kind of unrequited, and she actually confronts him about this, and because Jasper kind of suddenly seems interested in her, so she says, why did you ignore me for years and years and then suddenly you like me? And then he said, oh well, it's just a silly little crush that I thought it was, and you had other boyfriends, so clearly you were able to get over me and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's actually annoying. I'm not a huge fan of him. I felt like something just didn't sit well with me in terms of Jasper. It really just seemed unfair for Sloane, in my opinion, how he kind of just switched up so fast, seemingly. And then it was in the case that she was with someone else, and then not like he broke up that relationship, like she broke it off with her ex on her own. But later on, you do find out why he never crossed the line with her in the past. And it kind of makes sense, but I still feel like it really sucked for her to be kind of pining after him all of these years for literally, I think they were friends for like 18 years or something. I also just felt like I didn't really know the characters very well. It was more so just mostly about Sloane's and Jasper's relationship, because separately as people, like, I knew that Sloane was a dancer and that Jasper was a hockey player. They just didn't seem very like real to me, if that makes sense. They felt very one-dimensional, maybe is the word for it. But yeah, it was just okay, I would say. And like I said in a previous clip, I will be giving another shot at Elsie Silver in the Chestnut Springs series. I think I'll read Reckless because I'm just looking at Goodreads and that is one of the higher rated ones. So I'll give Reckless a shot and see how I like that one. And with that, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I feel like I surprisingly finished a lot of books in this video, which I didn't really think I was going to. I anticipated I was going to read maybe 2 books, but I didn't think I was going to finish them for this video. So I'm happy that I was able to finish a bunch of books during this time. And of course, if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts on them in a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more book content, and I will see you in a new video next week. Bye guys.